This is my favorite week of the whole year. And I get very excited about it. Okay, here we go. Welcome to day one of the Fresh Start Week for 2022. Today, we are going to be talking about setting a big goal, creating habits, 2 habits that will support your big goal. We're going to talk about Fred, which is the folder for reaching the end of your draft, and you'll meet him later. And we are going to do the perfect day exercise, which is one of my favorite exercises. I do it whenever I'm feeling a little bit stuck. And we're going to use the information from our perfect day exercise to choose 6, I call them the big 6 goals for the upcoming year. And that's it. So let's get started. Everyone should have the link. If you're watching this on YouTube, after the video is out, it will be in the description. Okay, everybody have the link. I'm going to switch to, make myself, I think, spotlighted. There I am, my big face. I'm going to go what we are going to do now, is I'm going to screen share. We're going to look at the worksheet for today, which you guys should all have, and Adrian will share again if you need it. Yay, here we go. Get me all technically competent and everything. Okay, this is the worksheet for the day one. And if you click the green part, you're going to get the notes for today's. You're going to get the the notes for today's workshop. There it is. So the first thing we're going to start with, though, is the 7 super habits. And we're not going to spend a lot of time on them, but I do want to introduce them. I went back and forth about whether to introduce them because they're one of those things. I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately, that the stuff that seems super simple is often the things that needs to be said, because it's not simple for everyone. This actually is not simple for me. I'm an extremely right-brained, disorganized human being. And when the things I'm about to talk to are off balance, or they're not happening, I can't write. I can't do the work I want to do because my brain is stuck in, like, I need to do the dishes, or there's a pile of laundry, or like things I should be doing instead. So if I keep these 7 things under control, it frees up brain space and time for writing. They are ridiculously simple, although how easy or not they are probably depends on your personality. Like me, these are simple, but for me, they're not always easy. And I often need to refresh this particular habit list. And I will say one more thing is that, these are things that need to be done. You don't necessarily need to be the one to do them. You just need to probably make sure they're being done in your house. And if you do them, I really believe they will free up the space and time for writing. Habit 1 is to shine your sink. These first 3 came from a book called Sidetracked Home Executives by Pam Young and Peggy Smith. I think that's right. Which was a book I found when I was very newly married in my very early 20s. And it kind of changed my life. I love the book. If you're familiar with Fly Lady, her process is based on this book. I just like the book better. But these 3 habits come from there. And one is to shine your sink, which just means to, when you go to bed at night, make sure your dishes from the night before are done. There's almost nothing worse than waking up to yesterday's mess. When that happens, for me, I almost always feel like I have in the back of my mind, I need to do the dishes, or whatever it is. So if I make sure that the dishes get done before I go to bed at night, I freeze that little part of my brain up. This is what I'm talking about, though. I do not do the dishes. My husband does. And Adrian is my daughter. She's here. She will tell you that even when we try to do the dishes, he does the dishes. So that's his thing. So that's one that's easy for me to delegate, because I can't don't even get the chance to do it. He doesn't. It's his thing. If you live with other adults or children over the age of 10 or so, you should be able to delegate at least part of that process. The second super habit is doing a load of laundry. If you just put one in before you go to bed, put it in the dryer in the morning, and then fold it and put it away, it's done. It takes a total of like 15 minutes of your time. And again, you're the laundry manager, not the washing machine. So if you have children or people in your house that are older than 8 or 10, you can, possibly assign everybody a day to do the laundry or whatever. Habit 3 is to keep your entryway neat. There is something psychologically pleasing about having the place where you walk into your house being put together. It makes it feel like the rest of the house is temporarily a mess, if it is a mess, which mine often is. So take a few minutes at night to put away the things that need putting away just in the place where you come into your house. For me, that's my kitchen door. Nobody uses my front door, including us. And I have a note here that if someone has left more than a few minutes worth of mess, it's time for a family meeting. There's a note about the first 3 habits that you can read. It's just about how long they should take you. Habit 4 is to dump your brain. We're going to talk about on another day, every day. That's spelled wrong. So there we go. The everyday notebook, which is just a notebook that I use every single day. And I just keep every single note in one notebook all year long. And the other is a hipster PDA, which is basically just a pile of index cards bound together with a binder clip that I carry with me. If brain dump is just what it sounds like, it's dumping everything that's cluttering up your brain onto paper so that your brain knows that you're not going to forget to do it or you're not going to forget about it. And it frees up some brain space for writing. Habit 5 is using a to-do list, which is just a funny way of saying a to-do list. Plus there really is magic to writing down your to-do list. Things get done. So I keep we will talk about this on the day that we talk about our everyday notebook, but I just do a daily to-do list. Every morning I sit down and I just make my list of things that I need to do today. And it works for me. Habit 6 is to make a meal plan. If you have more than just yourself in your house, maybe you'll understand this, but a lot of effort and time goes into making sure that my family, I have a large multi-generational family that I am basically the cook for. Sometimes somebody else cooks or picks up something to eat, but I'm generally the cook in my family. And so if I don't cook dinner, if I don't have this meal plan thing under control, what happens is it gets to be 6 o'clock at night and somebody says, "Hey, I'm hungry," and I haven't even thought about it. There's nothing thought out. And if I'm not careful, we end up eating like $5 fresh and ready pizzas 5 times a week, which is not good on many, many levels. So having a meal plan makes it so that I don't have to, one, answer the what's for dinner question 300 times a day, which I am not joking. People will like completely interrupt my creative work to ask me what's for dinner at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Who cares what's for dinner? I promise I'll feed you. But it's an ongoing thing. It may not be as much for you as it is for me, but for me, when I have a menu plan under control, like I know what I'm going to be making for dinner ahead of time, it frees up a lot of time that I can use for more creative work. And then the last one's not really a habit. It's more like, this would be for you if you have a lot of, like me, too much clutter clogging up your house, and it takes up your brain space too. And it takes a lot of effort to keep things up and whatever. So I just make a habit out of trying to get 25 things out of my house every week. That's a weekly, not a daily. That would be, you'd run out of stuff pretty quick if it was daily. And this one, obviously only needs to be done if I let it fall behind, because if I get caught up on it, I don't have 25 things to get out of my house. So I just put stuff in grocery bags and put them in the trunk, and whoever is going near a thrift store drops them off, and that's that. Okay. So any questions about the 7 super habits? Everybody's super quiet, and I want to make sure that you guys either have not left because you're like, that was really stupid, or
You muted everybody.
I know, but you can unmute. Does anybody, or is there anything in the chat?
Would you like for someone to tell you how great you are and how wonderful I am to be here?
Oh, yes, thank you.
You are most welcome, because I'm thrilled. I just absolutely delighted because you're speaking my language, and that is so refreshing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. When I'm sharing screen like this, I can't see you guys, and I always get a little anxious that I'm going to come back and everyone's gone. So yay. Thank you. Adrian, is there anything in the chat I need to address?
Lots of this is very helpful, and people saying they love the Fly Lady, and that they talking about that they're sympathizing with you. Lots
Okay,
of
good.
just
Positives. That's good. That's good.
yeah.
Okay, day 1 assignments. This is what we're going to do. And I've broken this down to, because there's a lot today. And if it's too much for you, or you're feeling overwhelmed, or you're new to this level of planning, it's okay. Like, it took me, I do all of these. Like, today, what I'm doing is inviting you guys to what I would be doing today anyway. But I've been doing this for 20 years. Like, this has been my week between Christmas and New Year habit, or I don't even know what I do during this week since Adrian was an infant, and she's almost 30. So a really, really long time, more than 20 years, close to 30 years. And it, I didn't start with everything that we're going to do today. So what I've broken this down to is that there's a couple things that you're going to at least do. So if you do these 2 things, they're going to do the bulk of the work for you in 2022. And then there's some, like, if you want more, or if you're ready for more, and we're going to go over all of them and do them all together. But it's okay if you're like, oof, this is too much for me. I wanted to make sure you know that which things are the things that you want to at least do today. And what you're going to at least do today is choose a big, hairy goal, and then 2 tiny habits that will serve that goal. And if you're ready for more, you're going to choose a 10 by 100 challenge, which I will explain to you in a little bit. You're going to set up your Fred. You're going to do the perfect day exercise, and you're going to set your big 6 goals for 2022. The rest of this notes is basically a description of all the stuff. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to talk off the cuff about it. I know this stuff really well, but I wanted to make sure that you had it in case you don't. I don't personally like all the time to have to watch a video to get the information. So I wanted to make sure that you have it so that you can refer to it later if you don't end up doing the exercise with us live today, or you just feel like you need it. So if you go up to the top of now we're going to go to the worksheet. Sorry. I think that's it. Okay, here's the worksheet again. In the yellow is how to make a copy of this that you will be able to fill out yourself. So you're going to click the word file up in the top left corner, and then you're going to click make a copy, and you'll get this. And you can rename it. I named mine Shanta's 2022 Fresh Start: Day 1 Worksheet. That's what I named mine. If you see the yellow, you can click on the click here, the end of that. I mean, not yellow, the orange, on the orange, and it will bring up this, which is my worksheet, which is not filled out as it says, but it will be by the end of today. And then if you click on the red, you will, what I did for you, because I always get questions like, what's next week or whatever, you're going to get you're going to get this, which is just the agenda for the whole week. If you want to see what we're going to be doing, like tomorrow and all the way through New Year's Day. It's an agenda. I told you I'm super on top of it today. I don't think I've ever done an agenda before for any of my calls. I am usually not nearly that that organized. Okay, does everybody have their, I'm going to give you a second to get your fresh start worksheet copied if you're going to do that. And I know that you're not going to be able to, you're probably going to want to have, if you want to see what I'm doing, unfortunately, it will be difficult for you to both work on your own and see what I'm doing. So I'm going to talk through mine so you can hear what I'm doing while you do yours. And then you will be able to see mine completed anytime by clicking on the click here on the notes. I mean, not on the notes, on the worksheet. Does that make sense to everybody? Oh, and on yours, I made my copy, but what I did here is we're going to talk about Fred, and you can click on this link here, download your Fred here if you need one. Actually, what I'm going to do here is make myself no, I can't do that. If you click on Fred, click here for Fred, you'll get a Fred that you can download and print out if you want to, and then instructions for how you can make like a portable Fred. And I just use a calendar, which I will show you in a little bit when we get to that part. And then if you click on the 10 by 100 challenge worksheet, you're going to get this one, which is just basically exactly what it sounds like, a worksheet for that challenge. I told you I'm so on it. Oh, almost. I'm so on it. Hold on. I need to open up. I didn't link. Oh no, the perfect day doesn't have its own. Does it? No, it's right here. So you're going to write the perfect year for perfect day exercise in there, and then we'll work on getting the elements out. And then there's your goals. So the 2 other worksheets you need are linked on your worksheet page here. Everybody good? Anything in the chat, Adrian, that I need to?
Somebody asked, where do they find that agenda?
It's there.
So it's
highlighted
the
in
red, highlighted in red.
Okay. Gotcha.
I told you I am super on top of it. Okay, I'm going to switch over to my own. And so what you're going to do here, so a big hairy goal is something that is a little scary, but doable. And one thing I want you to pay attention to and make sure that you do is choose a goal that is within your control. So I have had the same big hairy goal my whole life. What you're going, literally since about the 6th grade, and you're going to write it in a very straightforward, simple way. So the goal is so big that it ends up feeling a little bit simplistic. But my big hairy goal is to be a writer. That's it. And it's a lifelong goal. That's not, I don't want to be a writer in 2022. I want to be a writer my entire life. So this is a very big goal. What I did not write there is to be a best-selling writer or to have books that are made into movies or something along those lines, because I can't control how many people will buy my book or whether a movie company, production company, or whatever wants to ever buy one of my books. I can't control whether I ever get a Netflix series made out of my books. I mean, I have big dreamy kind of goals that would be fantastic, but since I can't control them, they are not my big hairy goal. What I can control is my work, the work that I'm willing to put into this. And so my goal, and I'm going to assume it's the same for a lot of you guys here today, since this is Ninja Writers after all, is just to be a writer. That's my big hairy goal. So write yours in that box. And I will say this process works even if you're wanting to work on some goal, a big hairy goal that's not writing. Like if you wanted, you could put to be a chef, to be a cook, not a cook, to be a chef, or to be a artist, or to be a runner, or whatever. Like whatever it is you want to do, you're going to put that as your big hairy goal. What I'm going to talk about today for the rest of this workshop is being a writer, but I do want you to know that this works for just about anything. Okay, so write your goal in there. Adrian, you're just going to tell me if somebody has a question, right? Just interrupt me.
Yeah.
Just or somebody, Janita or Meg or someone, because I can't see the chat.
Yeah, we're watching, Shanta. We got it.
Okay. So to be a writer, then we're going to pick 2 habits. These are tiny little habits. I think of them as I actually, when I was writing the Fresh Start book, I used the word atom, and Deborah was my editor and she changed it to nucleus, and she's a science person. So I just went with it, but they're basically a building block for your, like, if you do these things over and over and over and over and over and over again forever, you have no choice. Like, think about it, like if you stack enough bricks, you're going to build a pyramid, whether you like it or not. Like, there's no other choice, right? If you build, like, stack enough bricks in the shape of a pyramid, like, at some point you're going to have a pyramid. So what we're looking for is 2 habits. One is a practice habit, and one is what I finally decided to call a consume or consumption habit. So you're going to work or do something, and you're going to or practice something, and then you're going to spend some time consuming other people's work purposefully, right? So these are super easy for us if we're writers, right? We're going to write for 10 minutes a day, and we're going to read for 10 minutes a day. These are mine. You are welcome to them. I have never, ever seen something that works better than 10 minutes a day. Sometimes people still skip 10 minutes. What you're looking for is a psychological trigger that will shift you from being able, like, where it's easier to put it off to where it's easier to just do it and get it off your not break your streak, because 10 minutes is so short, and you can do anything on 10 minutes, even on a really bad day. 10 minutes works very well for me. When I've been doing this a really long time, and I've talked to thousands of people about it, and when somebody does not get the 10 minutes, does not work for them, and they find themselves all the time skipping it, or often skipping it, it is nearly always because they are saying that their goal is 10 minutes because I told them to, but in their mind, it's like, well, for me to reach my goals, what I really need to do is work for an hour every day, or I really need to write 100 words, or 1,000 words, or 2,000 words. That's what Stephen King does. And if it's good enough for him, like, your tiny habit here is, my entire goal as a writer for 17 years has been to write for 10 minutes a day. That's it. Any writing I do beyond 10 minutes a day is extra bonus writing. And I often do extra bonus writing. I almost never only write for 10 minutes a day, but sometimes there are days or weeks or even months in a row where all I do is my 10 minutes, and I still get full credit. No matter how much writing I do, as long as I write at least 10 minutes a day, I get the same amount of credit as I do if I spend an entire day writing. Does that make sense to you guys? Your whole goal is whatever this goal is, your practice habit, and it should be the smallest goal that will trigger you to just do it rather than putting it off.
Everybody's saying yes.
Okay, so I like a time-bound goal, 10 minutes. If that really doesn't work for you, you could try doing, like, writing 100 words a day or 50 words a day or something. But the problem with a word count goal for me is that it's really easy to let that stretch into forever, and it's really hard to keep it bound to like into something that feels like that, what I was saying, where it's easier to just do it than it is to break it. So I highly encourage you to just give the 10-minute goal a try, and a long enough try. Next thing we're going to talk about is the 10 by 100 challenge, but a big enough, like a good long try, where you give yourself time to really wrap your head around the idea that this actually is your whole goal. And it might not be like day one that happens for you. You might have to combat your brain telling you you're not going to get enough done in 10 minutes, or like, what kind of loser only writes for 10 minutes a day. Or I remember I took a pretty high-end coaching program for a year, right when I started Ninja Writers, and I had to travel to meet with the coach guy. And I told him, this is my goal, 10 minutes of writing a day. And he was so appalled. And I spent the whole rest of that weekend trying to convince him, like, no, I really don't need to find more time for writing. Trust me, I write all freaking day long. I'm a full-time writer with no other, I mean, I teach and I write, and that's it. I don't have like a day job. I'm a full-time professional writer. Obviously, I write for more than 10 minutes a day, but my goal is 10 minutes a day. That's it. Truly. I did NaNoWriMo in 2004. I was very, very pregnant. Adrian's sister Ruby was born on December 8th that year. And I finished my very first long form fiction project that year during NaNoWriMo. And it just triggered some kind of change in me where I was just like, I can do this. It sucked. It was not very good. But I thought to myself, everything else is mechanics. And if I keep doing this and I learn how to do it better, I can be a writer, like a real writer. And I made a goal then of writing for 10 minutes a day. Remember, I was like 9.5 months pregnant, and then I had a newborn. So 10 minutes, that's why it started with 10 minutes a day, because I didn't want to lose the streak over NaNoWriMo, but I knew I wasn't going to be able to do that level of writing, for quite a good amount of time between, having a baby and then the baby being there. And so it worked so well. And so she just turned 17 on December 8th. And I have never stopped doing the 10-minute goal. That's always been my goal since then. And I have never broken it. I did it when the day she was born. I did it when I had norovirus. I did it when I had to sit at the hospital for 16 hours a day with my mother-in-law for months on end. 10 minutes a day works because it works. It's like my safety net. It's the thing that stops me from not writing at all. So it's my at least, right? We talked a little bit ago about an at least goal. My at least goal is I write at least 10 minutes a day. Most days I write more than that, but I celebrate writing 10 minutes a day. Hope all that makes sense. And the way I celebrate writing 10 minutes a day is with my Fred. So I'm going to come back to you guys for a minute. Here I am. Oh no, I got to stop screen sharing. All right, here I am. So I use this planner. Oh, it's backwards, but does that look backwards to you guys? It does, no. Right? Oh, good. It's just called the medium monthly planner. You can buy it on Amazon. It's less than $10. It's made by a company called JStory. It is basically it's like the most basic calendar of all time. Just literally, it's undated. It just has the days across and the empty squares. And I think so. This one I just started in November, and it will go through March of 2023. I just noticed I messed this up. So I kept saying 2022, but it will go so that I don't know how many months that is, maybe 15 months, 16 month calendar. It is surprisingly effective for something so simple. You're absolutely right. Here's what I do. I give myself a pretty sticker and I write down what I wrote, and that's it. That's it. I have not put my sticker on. This is today. And I ended up working on my we do a YouTube sprint, Adrian and I, every single morning. Saturday and Sunday, it's 10 minute writing sprint only. We start at 10 a.m. Eastern. Adrian maybe can put the link to our YouTube channel it's on YouTube. It's free because it's on YouTube. And then Monday through Friday, we do an extra hour from 9 to 10 a.m. I did, you know what these are? I bought these from this guy. They're like vintage watch part thingies. I don't know, but I liked them. So I used them for my tabs. I just got derailed by this. Why I try not to look at the comments. But we do the extra hour of writing. We started it in NaNoWriMo during NaNoWriMo in November and loved it so much that we decided to keep doing it during the weekdays. So Monday through Friday, we do it 9 to 10, and then we do our 10-minute sprint. That's my actual writing time. But today during our 10-minute writing sprint, I was working on this class. So I'm going to have to do my fiction writing later, which is why you'll see that there is no,
On your Fred, though, you tried to work on like one specific project for like the week or for the month, right? Like you don't put a sticker down unless it's like for the project.
my goal is to write for 10 minutes a day, all day long on the same, not all day long, on the same project until it's done.
Mhm.
So, I like 10 minutes a day of any kind of writing would be better than not, right? But I would not use my 10 minutes to say, I don't do this particular exercise, but I know a lot of people on this call and a lot of writers in general do, my brain, morning pages. And I would not use my 10 minutes a day I would not count morning pages. That's basically journaling, and it is not towards any project unless it was towards a project. If I was having like my big main goal was to do blogging, Adrienne often writes blog posts for hers, and that I would count if that was a big, like my focus for that moment. Maybe I would do that extra hour. That's not the 10 minutes, right? That 9 to 10 hour, that's extra. That 10 minutes from 10 to 10:10 every morning Eastern, or it's actually 10:05 to 10:15. That I would work on whatever fiction. For me, it would be a fiction project.
An example in there on your Fred that you just showed was when you were working on editing Poet, right? So you have like 2 weeks in there.
Well,
where
like
Poet.
so look, okay, so here it is. So you can see I had the beginning here. I was finishing up my Fresh Start book. And then I got that turned into, excuse me. My draft was done here. And I read it through here. That was part of my process. And then I sent it. I have K here for Kristen, but I ended up sending it I wrote that like weeks ago and beforehand. And it actually went to D for Deborah, who edited it for me. And then I was done. So I started working on Poet, which is a novel, right? And I had some edits that actually did come back from Kristen. So I needed to apply those. And I did that every single day. And then I got my edits back from Fresh Start. And I did those edits during my 10 minutes every day until they were done. And then I started planning. This is the UG stands for the Undergrounders, which I'm not going to write out every day in this little bitty square. So the UG, I'm in the planning stages of that. That's a serial fiction. And when we get to the planning day, I'll show you. I have like a overall monthly calendar that I'm not going to show you today because it would be overwhelming, I think. But today is the last day that I have for planning the Undergrounders. Then I have a few days where I'll be writing on the Undergrounders. And then I'll, when I'm done with that, I have another project on my calendar that will be next.
Julie Ranson asked, where does editing fit in? Like if you are editing a project, do you use the same process?
I do. So I
that's
just
applying edits. So applying the edits they're already giving you, but when you go into like where you're actually
so I started a new one of these like halfway I don't have my November one right here. I started this in December. This particular book, but yeah. So just before I started Fresh Start, I was working on edits, my own edits for Poet, so I could send that to Kristen for editing, and that was what I did with my 10 minutes a day.
Yeah. There's lots of questions in here about does that need to be like creating new content, or can like does editing on the same project count towards your 10 minutes of writing?
It totally does count. I'm a planning a story is a huge part of my own process, and so I have to I can't start writing until I've plotted. So I put or at least I'll just say I can, but if I want to actually finish the book on time, I need to plan first or plot my book first. So I schedule in days for plotting, and you can see, okay, I'm just going to go ahead. Don't try not to get like lose your, like get upset when you see this, or not upset, but I will go over what this next calendar is I'm going to show you soon, but I just wanted you to see. So can you see there? Actually put the wrong name of this book, is actually Sonnet, not Lyric. But I have here that this is my 10-minute goal for these days here. The 30th, the 31st, and the 1st is plotting. And what I do to keep myself, because I like plotting and I like editing. And if I don't, what keeps me focused is giving, so that because I could spend months and months and months plotting, and it feels like writing, but I need to actually get to where I'm putting words down. So I put a timeline, like I'm going to plot. Let me see what I have in my calendar. I'm going to plot. I have it in my calendar to start writing that book Sonnet on, on January. Well, no, so January 2nd, we have an all-day write-in. And my plan, if I keep up all of my, like if I'm on track with all of my other writing goals for the month of December, which I am, I'm super proud of myself. I get to work on whatever I want on our all day write. So I'm not going to write Sonnet, but on the 3rd, I'm going to start writing Sonnet. Okay. So I have to be plotted. I have to have it completely plotted by January 3rd. So if I have not finished plotting it by the end of January 1st, then I have to spend that all day write time doing that, because I can't work on my other project until I've finished that, because that's my #1 level project.
So I wonder if this process of doing the Fred and sticking with one project for those 10 minutes until it's done, like Mary Jo said that she finds that the planning and plotting process is procrastination for her. And I wonder if it kind of.
You got me too. That's why I put a deadline. So I actually have to do it. But if I make it loosey goosey or like open ended, I'll do it for the rest of my life and never actually write a thing. So I give myself a week to plot a book.
Mm-hmm. But even like if you tell yourself that for the 10 minutes a day, you have to work on the same project every day, like eventually I feel like that's going to you're going to get sick of doing that, right? So you're going to want to move on in that project and move forward into the writing stage.
Right. And also, so here's the thing. Remember what I said, the 10 minutes a day is your, the 10 minutes a day is your at least goal, right? It's your minimum goal, not your only goal or your only writing that you're not allowed to do any more than that or whatever. It's just, this is your minimum goal, and it's always going to be on the same project. So I, for the last 6 months, I'm going to say, of 2021, up until, so from say July to October, I was working on a book called 312 that my agent was waiting on, and I needed to finish, and I hated it, and I didn't want to write it. So I literally did the edits of that book. It needed to be edited. It was written, but it needed to be edited so that she could start sending it out to agents, and she was bugging me for it, and I knew I needed to do it, but I didn't enjoy it. That book was hard for me. It's pretty intense, and it was a contemporary YA, which is not my genre, and I just was not enjoying it. I literally just did 10 minutes a day of editing on that book, and from July to October, I did the edits. I finished them. The rest of the time, like I did my 10 minutes and literally put it down, and then I worked on the other stuff. So you can have another project. You just can't, you just need to make sure that before you work on your other project, you do your 10 minutes on your like main project until it's done. The goal here is to, if you think about what every successful writer has in common, there isn't a whole bunch, right? We're all write in different ways. We all have different methods. We all have different, even published successful writers all have different levels of, skill. We could probably all name books that aren't very well written that sold 1 billion copies or whatever. But the one thing that everybody who's published and successful published in Anyway and successful has in common is that they have finished their projects. And so the goal here is to finish your projects. And you will do that if you just do your 10 minutes a day. We've been doing those YouTube sprints since the summer, right? I started those sprints because I needed to really implement, like get into 312 and make myself do it and make that my project. And we were going to just do those sprints for a week. And here we are months later, still doing them because they're so effective. And we have a small little group that comes to those. I would really love for everyone to come to them. I think part of the problem is it's really hard to prove to you that 10 minutes a day is going to mean anything if you don't come, right? Like you have to come and see. But we've had people that in just those 10 minutes a day, they tracked their writing just in those 10 minutes a day and wrote tens of thousands of words in 6 months.
We've had people write whole novels, finish whole novels in those 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
In the last year. Angela asked,
go ahead. I was going to address that.
Well, this is going to change the topic. So if you want to.
No, I'm done.
Okay. Angela asks, what do you do with your old calendars?
So I just saw that go through the chat and a couple of people said, oh, I'm a keeper and I'm not. And I struggle. I want to be someone who has this collection of calendars. I do keep my everyday notebooks. And I don't really keep my friends. I use them and then I mean to keep them and then I don't know where they are or whatever. I'm not much of a sometimes it makes me very sad that I'm not much of a keeper.
I think also if you were keeping like starting a brand new like physical thread for each project, like then maybe you would want to, like if you kept one thread that was only for when you were writing Poet, right? Like maybe it would be a little more.
Maybe
yours. Just
Yeah, I just use mine until it's done, and then I put it away somewhere, and then maybe sometime I'll come across it again. I don't have a very good plan for that. Mm-hmm. Sherry says those 10-minute sprints were a game changer. They really are, but there's something you have to experience to see. That's one of those things that I can tell you about it, but I think the reason why we don't have more people that show up to them is because it sounds like on paper, it sounds silly, like 10 minutes, whatever. Our little group that does show up though is super tight and they're doing amazing work. Okay. It's 9 a.m. Eastern Monday. So the 10-minute sprint is always at 10 a.m. Eastern every morning, every single morning, 7 days a week. On Monday through Friday, we also have a 1 hour sprint, which is literally we set a timer for a half an hour and then we reset it and that's it. We just write and it's extra writing time. Most of the time, I think Adrian and I both write during that time, but sometimes I don't because my goal is only 10 minutes. So if I've got work to do, I sometimes use that time and I'm just working on something else, but we're there for you guys. And then I tell at the end, like, this is what I did.
Mm-hmm. Carly says you can replay them if you miss, and you definitely can. We also have, if you go to our YouTube channel and look at the playlists, we have like timers that we made that you can play in the background while you're writing. And then
we have a playlist of timers that are 6-10-minute sprints. So you would end up writing for an hour. Mm-hmm. But the 10 minutes, we start, like we do the hour and then we start our regular 10-minute sprint at 10. So we tell what's going on at Ninja Writers for 5 minutes and then we do our 10-minute sprint. Then we celebrate however much everybody wrote in that 10 minutes and then we finish. It's a 20-minute call, 10 to 10:20. But we also do the extra hour in the beginning, but you can totally come in at 10 o'clock if you just and these are Eastern times if you are not wanting to do that extra hour.
Mary Jo says that she writes 250 to 320 words every 10-minute sprint, which is that's great.
Amazing. That's but also not like that's, I would say usually people average about 200 words. Mm-hmm. Everybody says how many words, and most of the time, sometimes it's less. I mean, it depends on who. And we have like a virtual tip jar or a quarter jar. I really try to not let people say like, I only did this many words or whatever. I mean, if you wrote 10 words, that's 10 words that 10 minutes ago did not exist in the universe, and you created them out of thin air, and it's amazing and a miracle. And so we celebrate every single person and how much they got done in that 10 minutes. And yeah, it's pretty, it is. I end that 10-minute sprint ready for my day, like really excited to be a writer. It's a really cool little 10 minutes, like powerful. I'm going to go back to, give me a second. Okay, I'm going to screen share again. Oh, what happened? I have no idea why that went to Adrian. I'm here though, right?
Yes.
Oh, my video didn't go to you. You're just on my picture.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the worksheet. My worksheet. Okay. So that's Fred. And you can, if you don't have a calendar, I like a regular calendar and I use stickers. And my inner child is probably a kindergartner because I am very motivated by the streak and by pretty colors. So I just like to use stickers and a calendar, and that's enough motivation for me, is not breaking that streak and seeing a visual representation.
Can I stop you for a moment? Before your thing is like not, oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Can go on. I'll cut that part out.
Okay. Oh, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I know. So there's no reason not to do this. I know some people really dislike analog calendars, and you can do this on a virtual or a digital calendar if you can figure it out. And like Asana or something. You can do this on I do mine on a planner, like a monthly planner, which is like it's the kind of planner that's like a wall calendar, but in book form. You could do it on a wall calendar. You can do it in your regular planner, whatever. I just like to see it all in one place. So I use a month view so I can see the streak. I've tried in the past doing it on my weekly calendar or a daily calendar, and that doesn't work as well for me because I need to see the streak. Your brain might work totally differently than mine, and that's 100% okay. And then if you want to download one, you have the download. Okay. 10 by 10 by 100 challenge. I have never thought of a more clever name for this. What it is making a goal of doing something for 10 minutes a day for 100 days. Those two numbers, it's like some kind of magic math. Doing something for 10 minutes is short enough, small enough goal to trigger your brain to like just do it. And it's enough of a goal that where you will see progress if you just do it for long enough. 100 days is long enough. It's a little bit more than 3 months. And there's just something about the 100 days that I know people say, oh, you need to do something for 3 weeks to set a habit, whatever. 3 weeks for me is not long enough. 100 days is long enough for me to see enough progress that I can say, holy crap, that was amazing. And I'm going to keep doing it. I've done a 10 by 100 challenge for things other than writing along a while back. Well, when Adrian graduated from high school, we went on a trip to New York City from Nevada to celebrate her graduation. So that would have been 10 years ago, I think, something like that. And I was in such poor physical condition that when we got back, I had done something to my back and my legs, and it was months before I could move easily again. And I thought something has to change. And so I just made a goal. I was just going to exercise for 10 minutes every day for 100 days. And it was amazing. Remember, the 10 minutes is a minimum, but I started out, I'm a swimmer. I was a swimmer as a kid, a competitive swimmer. I love swimming. So I thought I'm going to swim every day for 10 minutes. And it sometimes felt ridiculous to like get all the way down to the gym, get changed, get in the pool for 10 minutes and then get back out. But that's what I did in the beginning. And I went from being only able to swim yeah, 50 meters, I think it was. It's two like there and back. And that was all I could do. By the end of 100 days, I was swimming 3,000 meters a day. And obviously not in 10 minutes. So I got to where I was exercising closer to like a half hour a day. But I made real progress and I felt so much better. So 10 by 100, you're going to challenge yourself today to a 10 by 100. If you do not have a daily writing habit, I highly suggest that you write what you write in this box right here is write for 10 minutes a day. I have an established writing habit, so I'm going to think about a different 10 by 100 challenge for myself. But if you are already writing every day, like if you're already coming to our daily YouTube sprints, or Adrian already has a daily writing habit, if you already have a daily writing habit, this can be something else. What I have already thought about this, and what I'm going to put in here is spend 10 minutes a day. I don't know how I want to say this. I should have written out the sentence. Adrian, help me think of how to say this. I want to spend 10 minutes a day. Advertising is the wrong word. Okay, that's what I'll do. Letting people know about Ninja Writers. So I want to do something every day for 10 minutes, 100 days that like.
Are you looking for the word promotion?
Yeah, maybe, but not like ads and stuff. It would be more like joining a Facebook group or
spreading the good word.
Yeah, spreading the word about Ninja Writers or letting people know about Ninja Writers. I have a we're gonna get to the big, like we're gonna get to other goals later, but I have a goal for 2022. I just have this idea of I just want Ninja Writers to be like, when you think about, not you guys because you're already here, but when someone thinks about wanting to belong to a writers community, I want them to think of Ninja Writers. And so I have a habit of focusing so hard on the people that are already here that I forget to like spread the news to people who, spread the word about our community to people who are not already here. So that is going to be my challenge for myself in 2020.
My challenge, and I'm wondering if this is something that could work, but the one thing that I feel like I struggle with and stops me from writing more every day is that I feel like, or just doing more every day is, I don't know, my house space, my home space is just where I work is like not organized enough and not like it could be.
So that is a 10 by 100 I've done before also,
yeah,
which would be to spend 10 minutes a day decluttering or cleaning or whatever. Yeah. And what I do when I've done that 10 by 100 is I start like at the door of whatever room I'm going to start with, and I just move to the right for 10 minutes, and then I start where I left off the next day.
I think that's gonna be mine, because I think when I'm thinking about like what's the thing that's stopping me from writing more than 10 minutes every day, or from creating more than 10 minutes every day, or doing just doing more of what I want to be doing, I feel like it's my space.
I feel like I need to apologize for sharing my genetic legacy of right-brainedness with you, my sweet daughter.
Yeah.
I would be interested to know if the 7 super habits helped you. So maybe you could try doing those. So that would require doing the dishes tonight.
Oh yeah, probably would. Probably would. It always does. It's one of those things I feel like I drag my feet to declutter and to organize and to clean. But then like once I do it, no matter how bad it gets, it never takes as long as I think it's going to take. And then I always feel mentally and like physically like so much better at the end, but I always forget that I feel better after.
The 2 non-writing things that I've done this challenge for myself the most with is exercise, because I tend to be very sedentary. My work I love my work. And so my work involves a lot of sitting on my butt. Like, in fact, that's a thing, right? Put your butt in your chair and just write. And so the
We put our
problem
butts
is
out
I
of our chairs
too well. And I end up like, there could be whole days that go by where I barely get out of, stand up because I'm working like a 12-hour day and then I go to bed. And so, exercise is, or just moving, like getting up and moving myself is one of my big ones. And that I've done this often with. And then also decluttering, because I am I know I just got done saying I'm not a keeper, but I am someone who just likes.
You're a buyer.
I'm a buyer, but I'm also I like to say I'm a maximalist, right? I'm not a minimalist. I just like to have things. And then I can let them go. So it's like I don't get super attached to the things, but I like to have them for a while, and sometimes that gets out of control. Not gonna lie. So decluttering is one of my big ones, and also a goal for me this year. And so is exercise. So but I am just going to tell you, if you do not already have a daily writing habit, 10 minutes a day for 100 days, for, I would say almost everyone I've ever done this with, is long enough for you to see the benefit of 10 minutes a day, which is what you need to do to like shift from, fine, Sean said 10 minutes, so I'm going to put that down, but really my goal is 100 minute, whatever, 1,000 words a day or an hour a day or whatever, to, wow, if I just have this goal of 10 minutes a day, like magic happens.
I think I'm going to have 2 10 by 100.
Yeah. And you can have more than one. So you can have more than one for sure. And over here, I just made this for you. So I'm just going to copy and paste. I'm not even going to remember what I wrote there. Oops. I feel like that's not going to work. Hold on one second. So I'm going to copy my challenge goal and just put it over here. I'm not going to share this. Well, yeah, I'm not going to. Oh no. Oh my gosh. I can't put it there. That's, I have to make a copy. Hold on. You're going to need to make a copy of this if you want to, use it. So that's what I do for naming my Shanta's 2022 10 by 10 challenge, 10 by 100 challenge. And now I have this. I don't know if it will be, I didn't put the link to mine on there because I really don't know if it will be useful to you guys. Just, there's not anything else there. It's just a grid, 100-day grid. So then what you would do is print this out or digitally just like put an X on every day that you do it. So the goal is to see this, the streak. I literally am just going to print this out. And if you wanted to do more than one, so like I also have a goal. In fact, so if I would rename this one, like Ninja Writers 10 by 100 challenge. And then if I wanted to do another one, it would be, come on, baby. It would be, in fact, I can think of 3 that I would maybe want to do this year, although I don't know that I would try to do them all.
Yeah, that's a good question because I have that question, and so does Elisa at the same time. Is 3 too much? So Elisa has be healthy as 1, be a creative as 2, and 3 is have a nice environment. I think I would like to do.
So those are, I'm gonna stop right there because those are too big. They're like your theme for your goal, right?
Specific enough.
So
yeah.
what is 10 minutes? What was the first one?
Be healthy.
So like my that is also a goal for me for this year. I turned 50 in October. So I would have a 10 by 10 challenge of spend 10 minutes a day, or that's so wordy. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Hold on.
Sorry, Shonda. I meant those as big, hairy goals and then break them down. Like, can you have 3 big, hairy goals to work on and then, or is that too much?
Those are not those would be your big 6 goals, which we're going to get to today in a little bit. Your big, hairy goal is like, you're just going to have one and it's huge. And it's like the one thing you want from your life the most, that you would do forever. It's like probably going to be tied to your work or your like a pursuit, right?
Like, who do you want to be?
Who do you want to be? Yes, I want to be a writer. You know, if I was Adrian also wants to be a writer. I
put specifically for me, I think that I want to be an artist, because when I think about writing, it all contributes into this idea of being like a creator or an artist.
Yeah. And Adrian's sister Ruby would probably also have I want to be an artist. And so her goals for wanting to be an artist first are different than Adrian's, because Adrian fits writing into being an artist, and Ruby is you know, she's 17, she's looking at art school in a year, and she wants to be an animator, right? Which is not a goal that Adrian has, I don't think. But you know, so her how she will approach that goal, like Adrian's 10 by 100 challenge, or her daily habit of her producing habit would be right now, I think, to write for 10 minutes a day. Ruby's would be to draw for 10 minutes a day. But they both have the same like big hairy goal of being an artist. They just approach it differently.
Yeah.
Okay. So mine would be, if I was going to have another 10 by 100 challenge, it would be exercise for 10 minutes a day. And then if I was going to have one more, it would be, this would be my, I don't want the words copy of there. This would be my, I don't know, I'm just gonna put home challenge. And this would be, come on, declutter for 10 minutes a day. Now, I like to work on a quarterly system, and this fits right in because there are roughly 100 days in each quarter. I mean, that's going to take you like 2 weeks into the next year, but whatever. I like the roundness of 10 by 100 more than I care about breaking a year up into exactly how many days is in a quarter. So I might have like, that doesn't, so I might have the, this one for the first quarter and then add in this exercise one, but that doesn't mean that like I don't have to, you know, I'm not allowed to exercise between January and March of 2022, right? It just means I'm not like using a grid and having a concrete like specific goal. But because I know this is coming up, right, it's going to be in my mind, and maybe I actually will stand up more often or start looking for like what will this look like.
So I feel like I have 3 that I would like to do, and I'm wondering if you think that they are too big or if it's possible to do 3. But I think one of them would be to have like a, you know, clean / declutter my house. And then I was trying to think of one for it just gets me out of my house also, because I spend too much time at home. And so I just need to get outside more. So I put that I could do one for, you know, walking the dogs.
What I would do for that one is to say, leave my house for 10 minutes a day, because what will happen is,
like if I go to the grocery
has bad
store.
Weather.
Yeah.
But it's okay to go to the grocery store. That counts, right? And eventually, by the end of 100 days, hopefully you won't have to count. Like when I first did the exercise one, I was counting like walking to get the mail, because what I was doing at that point was like, hey, Ruby, can you go get the mail? Or go get me a drink? Or, you know, like I was super sedentary. This was 10 years ago. You know, I weighed nearly 400 pounds and I was miserably uncomfortable. And so I was losing my mobility. That's what I learned from myself during that time. And I didn't actually lose any weight during those 100 days, but I got more mobile and I felt better. And it actually led directly to losing over 100 pounds later, because I wanted to feel better and it worked. And so in the beginning though, like I think it was week 3 before I actually swam for 3 full weeks, it was mostly like going to the grocery store myself instead of asking Kevin to go, or walking to get the mail myself, like, and all of that counted. And sometimes I had to do 5 or 6 things that only took 1 or 2 minutes and added up to 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. My last one that I have is to create something new in 10 minutes every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah. And you might, you need to decide if your brain is going to trick you into thinking like if you need to be more specific, like make art, or
I don't think so, because I feel like just in general, like it could be something, I have a lot of small things that I know I can create in 10 minutes. And I feel like it could be, I don't know, I have this idea that it could be a,
well, so we are going to have one of the big 6 big goals is the last. So we only actually, there's 5. And then the last one from what I do every year is I come up with one big creative goal every year,
mm-hmm.
which we're going to talk about. But what you're talking about now, instead of being a 10 by 100, it actually sounds like your creative goal for the year.
Yeah.
So I would start with 1 and know what your other ones, like I just made my other 2 for the year, but I probably will not start these, like this exercise one. Actually, I think probably this one, the declutter one, will be my actual like 10 by 100 for quarter 2. And then my exercise one will be for quarter 3. That does not mean I'm like never going to declutter anything between now and the summer. It just means that I'm not going to use this. I'm going to really focus in on it in quarter 3.
That makes sense.
So, I don't need one of these for writing. I have a decades long, experience of I have a very set writing habit. And it would be a waste of my time to do this for that. I don't need to change my writing habit. It's super like it would be as silly for me to do this for writing as it would be to make one for brushing my teeth. Like I don't, I've been brushing my teeth for almost, for 50, as long as I've had teeth, right? So 49 years. And I don't need a chart to like reward myself for that. And my Fred is enough for me. For writing. If I did not have a daily writing habit, I 100% my 10 by 100 would be writing.
Mm-hmm.
Writing for 10 minutes a day. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me get back.
There's lots of questions in here that want to clarify that whether or not 3 to 4 things would be too much.
I'm gonna have you guys hold off on those questions until we get to the after the perfect day exercise, which is next. We're going to talk about your big 6. I think what I would do and what I do is what I just told you. I'm only going to have 1 for each quarter, and that's what I generally do. And I don't even know what my one for the 4th quarter will be, and I may not even get that. Like I may not even have that one. But just remember that these are 10-minute goals. So if you have 4 of them, that now we're talking about 40 minutes of your day. And the problem with having 4 of them is that, are you really going to only do 1 if you only have 10 minutes? Or if you have to skip 1, are you going to skip all of them? I would definitely choose 1 and then add in another one in quarter 2 and then add in another one in quarter 3. So, like if I do this Ninja Writers one where I'm going to spend 10 minutes a day letting people know about Ninja Writers, when I add in the decluttering, like, the goal here is not to do 100 days and stop. It's to set a habit. So this will be established. And if it feels established, I won't need another chart. If it doesn't feel established, maybe I'll make another chart and that will, whatever. But like I'll do this one and then I'll add in exercise and the decluttering, and it's something that I will continue on. Exercise would hopefully be a lifelong thing. Decluttering, hopefully I will do, and then it will be done. Like I said, I'm 50 this year and I still need to have a chart for it. So, that's my bugaboo. So I would choose 1. And if you do not have a daily writing habit already that is very, very well established, I would make that my first one. Not going to be your only goal, because we're about to work on setting other goals. It's just for that one particular challenge, you're going to want to probably just pick 1. for the first quarter, which is roughly 100 days. It's a little less than 100 days, but it works. I think it works. Okay, let me get back to my day. So what do I have over? Yeah. So the perfect day exercise, I'm going to set a timer on my phone and we are going to spend like 15 minutes. We might end up going a little bit past 2 today. So, because I wanted you to have time to do this exercise. And I'm going to do it right here. You guys can, you know, you'll be able to see mine as well. I might actually come back though. I don't know if in fact, I am going to, I'm going to come back here. I'm a little bit afraid, that if I do it live, I'm going to not be able to do it very well because I'm going to be self-conscious, but it's going to be on the document that you guys will have access to. And what you're going to do is imagine that this is a day 5 years from now, and everything that you want in your life has come together and you just are going to have a perfect day, just perfect. You're living where you want to live. You live with who you want to live with. You're spending time with who you want to spend time with. You feel the way you want to feel. You know, your environment looks the way you want it to. Your writing career is doing what you want it to do. This is a place where you can, like, you don't need to feel so bound to things that you actually have control over. Often things get into my perfect day exercise, like I am getting ready for the Hollywood premiere of a movie based on my book or whatever. And we will talk about how you translate that into actual goals, because dreaming about something is what is good. Making that dream your goal, and if it has very little to do with something that you can physically do yourself, can be very demoralizing and frustrating. So dream in your perfect day exercise, and just imagine, like, I want you to unbind yourself from the idea that like, just imagine that you have all of the time and support and money and education, and like everything that you need has already been done. 5 years is long enough to do a whole bunch of stuff and to get those, but you can't get from here to there if you don't know what the gaps are between here and there, that you can bridge. So try not to limit yourself to what you think you can do. Just let yourself go, and for the next 15 minutes, write, like, dream about what a perfect day would look like if everything happened exactly the way that you want it to. Okay, I'm setting my timer right now. I'll see you guys in 15 minutes. Okay, that's it. We do not have enough time for everyone to share, so I'm not going to ask anybody to share. You can see mine if you want, but we're going to move on. Okay. Mine is in the worksheet, like if you click on the, well, up here where it says to see Shanta's completed worksheet, you will see mine. I wrote it right there. That's how long mine is. Now, the next thing that we're going to do is in this next section where it says elements of my perfect day, you're going to go back over your worksheet or your perfect day exercise, and you're going to pull out the things that you see that are kind of elemental to that perfect day. I'm going to talk you through doing my own so you'll see what I'm talking about, and then take a minute for questions if you have trouble with that. So in my perfect day, one thing that stood out to me is an element is people, right? So my family, my extended family, so that would be my brothers and sisters and my dad, and Ninja Writers, the people, not the business, I guess. Another thing that I see in here is how can I say it? Is this a sense of like work? Well, I'm going to just put work in here. We'll talk about it more, but there's a lot in here about my work. And one thing I noticed as I was writing this year is that I always find myself saying, like, I start out my day exercising or doing something else. But you know what? I realized just while in the last 15 minutes is that I wake up with my brain already going 1,000 miles an hour on work. Work is what excites me and what gives me energy for the day. And I do my best work in the morning. So it would make a lot more sense for me to just be okay with waking up ready to work. And then in the middle of the day, when my creative energy starts to wane, that's when maybe I have a goal of getting out of the house, or my problem is not starting work. In other words, it's stopping it. I end up working 12 hours a day every single day, and it's not very balanced. So that has made its way into my perfect day exercise this year. That Ninja Writers doesn't need me for 12 hours a day anymore. I can spend time on my own writing projects or just getting out of my house. And when I'm done with work, I'm done with work. Let's see. You want 5 of them ideally. So I have people, work. Oh, writing for sure. Writing is always one of the elements of my thing. Home, there's a lot in here about actually had in there about where we live, and then I took it back out because I don't know. And we just bought our house in October, and I like our house right now. And so even though I don't think I'll want to live in Warren forever, and maybe not even 5 years from now, I'm not ready to have it in my perfect day that we don't live here. Not yet. And I have like work, and then I'm just going to put not work, because I have in here like travel and doing creative projects that are not work. I have also a problem with doing something just because I like doing it and not constantly trying to monetize everything for myself. So I don't mean monetizing like every single project that we do for Ninja Writers. Like, for instance, this week of workshop, I don't think I can't imagine ever charging for. It's not that I want to monetize everything. Like, Ninja Writers is already monetized. I have to actually be reminded sometimes, like, hey, you probably need to start like charge for some stuff so that we can, pay our bills. But for like, I have a hard time doing like a creative project or something that's not writing, and my brain instantly goes to, how could I make some money doing this, which is a function of having some big long period of time in my life when I was living in pretty abject poverty. And so my brain just got really good at figuring out ways to make a little bit of money doing something, and it's hard for me to turn that off. So those are my elements: people, work, writing, home, and not work. So then you're going to look at the gaps between you and your perfect day. So when I think about people, actually I am super lucky that my kids all live close enough to me that I see them. I work with both of my older kids, and my younger daughter is in junior in high school, so I see her every day. And but I don't, I haven't seen my extended family in 2 years. No, longer than that, 3 years. And that's a problem for me. So that would be a gap. I also have Ninja Writers. I feel like my goal was to make Ninja Writers into a community that I was actually part of, and I feel like that's already going very well. I feel very connected to Ninja Writers, the people. And so the one gap I have there is that I haven't seen my family in 3 years. The gap I have for work, I would say a gap is that I have a hard time turning work off at the end of the day. And, I sometimes get overwhelmed or anxious about some work stuff. Writing, I've been too afraid to really try. No, not really try. I've been too afraid to indie publish fiction. I have indie published nonfiction, and I've been very happy with that, but I've been too scared to try doing indie published fiction. I don't have a contract for a next traditionally published book. When you get to the end of these, if you just do tab, it adds another thing. What else would be in writing gap? I'm pretty happy with. I'm not spending as much time writing my own projects as I would like, because no, I'm not gonna say as I would like. I'm just not spending as much time writing my own projects because I've been focused on building Ninja Writers for the last 6 years. So it's a gap, not because I regret spending the time doing Ninja Writers or building up Ninja Writers, but now that it's established, this year, I really feel like I can spend more time writing, and which I'm very excited about. Oh yeah, my house is a cluttered disaster area in many ways. So not just clutter, there's lots of stuff going on in my house that needs to be addressed before I can have my perfect day. And then not work would be I struggle to do anything just for fun. I'm not going to put travel on here because it's not anything in my life that's keeping me from traveling as much as I want to. It's COVID, and but the year before COVID, we actually did a lot of traveling, and I was happy with that. And this last year, Adrian and I have done something, haven't we, Adrian? Every single quarter we've taken a week off and gone somewhere.
Yeah.
I spend too much time in my house and even in my work area in my house. And I don't have a dedicated work area that's separate. Oh my God, separate from my bedroom. Not good. And that would be home, right? So I'm just gonna take this one out and move it down. There, and remove this. There we go. Not work. Not work. Oh, I'm far too sedentary for good health. I don't have good balance between work and not work. I think that's good. So do you see, hopefully that's enough for you to see, like we're looking for these gaps. So then when you're thinking about your goals, you can think about what, like make sure that the goals that you set like are designed to build bridges between where you are now, right? Which would be these, you know, on one side of these gaps and where you want to be. So you're going to pick 5 elements of your life that you want to work on this year. They might or might not be the same as these elements of your perfect day. I definitely have, these are just going to be high level, right? So I have health. I already have made mine for these. Home, mind. Especially the last 6 months, I've been dealing with, like, had some more overwhelm and anxiety than I would like to live with. And then I struggle every winter. The lack of sunshine in Pennsylvania is tough for me. Work and writing. Those are my 5 for, you know, and those are my 5 elements of my life I want to work on. Does that mean I'm not going to like do anything with people? And in fact, I might like find myself changing this one to people, because I definitely, I definitely need to really want to see my dad this year and my brothers. I think that is what I'm going to do. So then you're going to pick your big 6 goals, but the one last one down here. So you're going to pick one goal for each of these elements. That's 5. And every year I pick one big creative project that I'm going to work on for the whole year. This year, my creative project is, I got a book, and it has, it's all about making books, like the physical act of creating like a journal or a notebook, a book, not writing a book, but creating the actual book. So I'm going to do all of the projects in my bookmaking book. I'm afraid people are going to see that on YouTube and look at this and think I'm like I have a goal of being I don't know, taking bets, but I do not. So then you're just going to make your big goals from here. I'm not going to put my health goal on here because I feel like that's probably private, like more private than I'm going to put on here. But my home goal would be to completely declutter my house this year. So that gives me a whole year to declutter my house. Let's see. travel to, no, how do I want to write that? Spend time with my dad and siblings this year. And I already know some things I'm going to do for this, so I'm just going to note them here for myself. Nope, I'm not, because that's coming up. I forgot that I designed a way to do that. That's my people goal. My work goal is okay, to get to 1,000 subscribers in the Ninja Writers Club. That will be a good one. And then I have huge writing goals this year, you guys. So I'm just going to put to complete my all of my planned projects for this year. I just swear I like to write them as full sentences, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. So then once you have done that, you're going to come down here, and we have these, I have this where you're going to do next steps and then the next step. So I'll do this with one of them. Let's do the decluttering my house one. So that's goal 2 for me. So completely declutter my house this year. That's my goal. And then I'm just going to make a list of some of the goal, like some of the steps. It doesn't have to be comprehensive because this is a year-long goal. Like would be a lot to ask, but hopefully you would know what the first things that you need to do would be. So like, I'm going to start with declutter my bedroom and get the little attic rooms set up for me to work in. So I have a little room in my attic that I'm going to turn into my office. And also because I've been using my bedroom as my office, it is full of work stuff that is not working. We have one of the smallest bedrooms in our house, and like there's not space here for all of this. So I know that those are 2 things that I want to do first. Oh, I know. Clean out my closet and other places. Oh my gosh, where I have clothes. Take what I'm not wearing regularly to, what's that place called, Adrian, downtown? Oh, phase 2.
Yeah.
To sell. So there's a consignment place down in our town that I can take some of those clothes to get rid of. I have too many clothes. And I'm gonna just stop there. I don't know what else to put on there for now. But so then like the first thing that I need to do to reach my declutter thing would be to declutter my bedroom. That's the first thing. It's like causing me severe, like not severe, but I'm going to go with serious anxiety. So the next steps, like breaking that first step down further, I need to, take out everything that doesn't belong in my bedroom. Right. And I need to clean off my desk, and I need to get a new bedside table because what I've got going on now is not working for me. And organize my bookshelf. Like just think of all of the things like that would be broken down. And if you needed to, you could break it down even more if you find that these are all like still too big. So you're going to do this for every one of these 5 goals today. Adrian, are there any questions or anything?
Let's see.
Looks like we're good.
Yeah, I think that we're doing pretty good.
All right, I think I'm going to come back and stop screen sharing so I can just see you guys. And oh gosh, there's still 50 people here. That's exciting. Hi, Donna. Oh, can someone share the link with Marianne? She got here late.
Sure.
Who has questions or wants to talk about their goals, or was this helpful? You guys can let, if you, I hopefully it was helpful. Okay, good. It wasn't, we're going to do an exercise. If you're, we have a mastermind that starts up again in, which Adrian maybe can share a link to, or I definitely can talk more about the mastermind, but it starts its first like full 8-week cycle, the Ninja Writers Mastermind, the first Saturday in January. And we're going to do an exercise in there about planning. And I wanted to practice doing it with a group. So I did it with Adrian and Zach and a couple other people. And I got through most of it okay, but then I get excited and Adrian was like,
slow down just a little bit.
Yeah. So I want you to know that oh, that's Carly. I don't know if I've ever seen Carly's face before. I always just see your name. Hello. So if any of that went too fast, I am not, I mean, this call was designed to end at 2, but I'm happy to stay longer if you have questions, or if any part of this didn't make sense. I'm happy to answer questions about the Ninja Writers Club if you're feeling like you need more help. The mastermind also would be a great place for that. Our plan for the first 8 weeks is designing your writing, like planning your writing year for the year. We're going to take 8 whole weeks to do that. So if higher level planning for writing is something you want, you might, Adrian, I think I just saw someone put the link to the mastermind in there. It's technically closed, but we're happy to have you join us anyway, if you would like to.
Should we talk to them about what we're going to do next week, since we have a landing page?
Yeah, so next week, for the first time, we're adding a second week onto Fresh Start, and Adrian's going to do it, and you go ahead and tell them about it. She's going to run it.
It has I'm not sure about the name, but I'm just calling it the writing career proposal. But I taught this as a class in the guild, maybe the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021. And I went through the process of creating a proposal for like my big hairy goal. So in this lesson, it actually works perfectly to talk about it here, because you just laid out your whole what your big hairy goal is. And so I created a proposal for myself last year to it's not necessarily meant to be something that you reach in 1 year, but just an overall proposal of how you're going to meet that goal, that big hairy goal in general. And it could be something that a proposal for the next few years or for the rest of your life, but it's a plan specifically for that big hairy goal and how to move closer to it. And I was looking back over it this last month, and I'm kind of shocked by how much closer I actually got towards my big hairy goal, which was to what did I say? Something like to be an artist by way of a writing career. And some of my what I did was I started with my big hairy goal and then kind of broke it up into 4 equally large goals that I know that I need to meet before I can say that I've like reached this goal, or to get closer to that goal. And I reached like 3 of my 4 goals this year, which I think is really cool. It helped me find consistency in blogging and build my own platform and find my own audience, and also finish writing a book this year. And so I thought it would be, Shanta and I were thinking that there's a whole process for writing this proposal that I've been blogging about if you've been following me over the last week. But Shanta and I thought that it would be kind of cool to take the next week following Fresh Start to make a comprehensive plan for your big hairy goal specifically. Like, what are you going to do what are going to be the next steps? What are you going to do? What are going to be your resources for helping you reach that big goal? How can you like the main thing it does, I know it turns your dream, right? Like your dream of being whatever. If your dream is to be, I don't know, the next Anne Rice, right? It turns that dream into a goal, right? And it's something, it helps you by the time you're done with it, you have like action steps, right? For, putting yourself on that trajectory of reaching that big hairy goal. And so what I'm going to be doing next, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Adrian and I were in master's degree programs at the same time.
Yeah, it definitely is inspired.
And it definitely is inspired by that. And when I was in a low residency one, and this is exactly what you do to plan your learning plan for the next semester, or the next 6 months or whatever. And it's very close to that, and it's very effective.
Yes. It is. Yeah. And so like, yeah, it's definitely like, this is the exact process that I went through at the beginning of my own master's program for design, coming up with my thesis project and finishing it. And, it requires a lot of like revisiting. So actually, like when I go through it next week with you guys, I already have my proposal written. I need to revisit my proposal because I've met a lot of the goals that I put in there, and I need to make new goals. Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to be revisiting my proposal. So, if you went through that class with me, when I taught it I can't remember if it was at the beginning of the year, the end of last year, but somewhere around New Year's last year, I'll be talking about how to refresh your proposal or how to update your proposal if you already have one written, but also just how to write your proposal in general. And, it's interesting to me because I wrote it, I put it away, and it wasn't even something that I looked at throughout the year. And going back and looking at it, I met almost all of my goals. And the one goal that I did not meet, I already had, even without looking at my proposal and being reminded of, oh, that was a goal that I had at the beginning of the year, have a very strong plan in place for working towards that goal beginning January 1st. So
what was the goal that you didn't meet?
It was self-publishing. Working towards understanding self-publishing.
A lot of blog posts.
I did, yeah. My goal was to learn self-publishing for writing a fiction book, which I have a very strong plan for doing that starting in January. And so I think it's a lot about too, like the power of intention and just switching from thinking of this big hairy goal as a dream and thinking about it as like a goal that you could actually achieve and work towards. And
even if you never come back to the planning that we're doing now, just doing it like, I in the Fresh Start book, I wrote this example. I have a tendency to look at the clock at 10:28. That's my birthday, October 28th. It is not that I look at the clock at 10:28 more often than I look at the clock at any other time. It's at any other time on my count on the clock. It doesn't register to me as any other thing than, hey, it's 2:04 right now. And when I see it at 10:28, it feels different because it's my birthday. And then I'm like, oh, hey, it sticks with me that I looked at it at that particular time. Mm-hmm. And when you set your goals this way, it's like letting your brain know, hey, you should look for these particular things because they're important. And so you'll start noticing like, wow, I made a goal of being a writer. And now like I'm getting all these emails from Ninja Writers that I didn't notice before, or things start popping up on your Facebook feed, or you start like, oh, look at you're at a thrift store or garage sale and there's a book about writing, and they would have been there anyway, but now they're in your brain, right? Now you're noticing them, and you'll start noticing them even if you never go back and like revisit and for an entire year your plan you're making right now. It's still making the plan, and it's still important, and you have not failed.
It just shifts something in your mind even if you don't go back and look at it. It just turns it into the process of planning and proposing this life for yourself. I think just shifts that gives you a new mindset. So anyways, what we want to do is next week. So we have an all day rate on the Sunday. So we're not going to start on Sunday. We're going to start on Monday. So Monday through Friday of next week, I think we said 2 p.m. Eastern, every day. We're going to do this. I'm going to walk you through it. So we're just going to meet here on Zoom, just like we're doing now. And I have my guide for writing a proposal is split up into 4 different sections that you work on. And I've got worksheets for every section and everything that walk you through writing it. It is a little scary because like mine is 10 pages long, but it's all just stuff that I did from filling out these different worksheets. It's not anything that I had to, pull out of nowhere, if that makes sense. So it's fairly easy and fun to put together. And so we will work through the process of putting that together. And then on the 5th, the last day, we'll just have putting it all together and, sharing what your big goals are. But it's really fun. And I really enjoyed teaching it. The last time I taught it, there was some very big, hairy goals in there, and they were fun to hear, and people like not being afraid to say like that their big, hairy goal is to like make $10 million from their writing. And I'm like, that's the whole point, is that like nothing is impossible, and you just have to have a goal for it. So, it's fun. And there is, oops, I didn't mean to do that. If you would like to join in on that and get more information there, here's the landing page to sign up for that. There is, why did that not, sorry. Here's the landing page to sign up for that. And if you click on there, there's a link on that landing page that will lead you to I did a week's worth of blog posts on all of this, on the process of this. So you can kind of get a head start, and just see what I did and like how it helped me this year. And yeah, I think it'll be something that will feed really well into like following the Fresh Start Week. Because it's Fresh Start Week is going to get you in this mindset, and this is going to be more, I think it's going to be, I want to emphasize that this plan here, this is not, I'm not giving you a plan for reaching your big hairy goal in a year, because your big hairy goal is not meant to be reached in a year. It's something that you're always shooting for, right? And that can take many years. But it's meant to get you moving in the right direction towards your
right. That's what I'm saying. I want to be a writer is not a goal for 2022. It's at least not for me. Maybe you're someone who just has a bucket list goal of writing a book, but then that wouldn't be your big hairy goal. That would be one of your those big 6 goals, right? This is something that's more fundamental to who you are as a person. If being a writer or just, and it also, you want to make it pretty broad, because like 10 or 20 years ago, I want to be an independently published writer would not have been on my radar, but I did know I wanted to be a writer. And so all the work I've done between now, like I said, like 17 years ago, I wrote my first novel, and I want to be a writer. Like I knew it. I had already knew it, but I just wanted to be a novelist, a novel fiction writer. And I just started doing what I needed to do every day to get me towards that goal. And it adds up, right? I mean, I'm sitting here to tell you, it totally adds up. And you don't know where it's going to, 17 years ago, I couldn't have even known that independent publishing would be such a big thing, or that I wanted to get a master's degree or any of it, right? Ninja Writers was definitely not even a little glint in my eye at that point. So I don't know where, what the next 20 years will bring, but I do know that in 20 years, I'm still going to want to be a writer. Like, that's still going to be my big goal. I want to be a writer. Chances are very good that that's still going to be not the only thing I want, and not the only goal that I ever have. But when I think about the most fundamental goal of my life, it's I want to be a writer, period. And that's the kind of goal that would be like your top level. And then we just like bring it down until we get to something that you can do today. And we're going to talk, well, go back on the agenda, whatever day that we're talking about notebooks and planners. I think it's day 4. I'm going to show you my overview calendar. And what that does for me is, because I want to be a writer, is massive. It's like a whole lifetime of stuff. All I have to do today is what's on my calendar for today. and having that, knowing what I need to do today makes it so I don't have to worry about what I have to do tomorrow, right? Like, my 10-minute goal for today is to plan the Undergrounders book. And I still need to write sonnet to make my goals, but I don't have to worry about it today. Like, it's on my calendar, and I have days when I've set aside to write that. And because I've done that, my brain can let go of it. I have an overactive brain. I wake up raring to go. And what happens, the problem with that is that I love it and I lean into it, and I love my own energy. Like, I love being excited about ideas and projects and what everybody's ideas and projects, it makes me happy. But the problem is it's very easy for that to go too far, and I become overwhelmed and anxious. And I don't want to be overwhelmed and anxious. And the way I manage that is by narrowing down my excitement until I can just be excited about what I have to do today. And the other stuff, my brain can let go of, because I've written it down somewhere that I'm going to look at every day. And that's what we're going to talk about on day 4.
Yeah. So the fresh start this week is going to give you the tools you need to implement what we're going to talk about next week, which is going to be your big hairy goal, right? Which is going to be making a lot of lists that you're like, okay, I have all these lists. Now, how do I actually like do all these things? Where do I start? And I think fresh start is what we're learning here is going to help you figure out how to do the things day to day.
I think a lot of that, I'm going to turn off my video because audio is getting funky, and I don't know if it's me or you, Adrian. But a lot of the, what's happening in next week is making it so that you don't feel like you're spinning your wheel, so that every day when you do a little bit, it adds to the day before. And so you're doing a little bit, all towards the same thing.
And it all adds to
right. Like, imagine if you had
goal.
a goal of reading. If you had a goal of reading for 10 minutes a day, but like you read this book today, or writing for 10 minutes a day, but every day, and you can write 1 page in a day, and you wrote something different every day, like, you'd still have 365 pages written. But in one scenario, if you write them all in the same book, you've written a book. And if you don't, you've written 365 first pages that don't add up to leading you towards where you want to go. Probably, who knows, maybe you just really like writing first pages and that's your goal, and that's okay. I'm not here to judge. But if your goal is to be a writer that's publishing in a way that you want to publish and is reaching readers, you need to finish a book. And you can do that literally without ever writing more than 10 minutes a day. If in that 10 minutes, you write 1 page, you can write a book a year, publish it, and then next year do it again, and do it again, and do it again. And in a lifetime, you have 20 or 30 books written. I'm just saying, you can do it. But chances that you'll never want to write more than those 10 minutes are very, very, very slim, because once you start seeing progress, it's addictive.
Yeah.
It really is very addictive once you start seeing progress.
I think, the big main thing about proposal process that was the most helpful for me was that it took something that I really wanted to do that was more like I was thinking about it more as a dream instead of a goal. And it forced me to like set guidelines for like, this is how I'll know that I've reached this goal, that I've completed that point, right? So it doesn't always seem like it's just far in the future and not ever something that you can reach.
Yeah, those are your at least goals. If I at least do this much, then I know I'm successful.
Yeah.
Carly, I want to be a writer. If I at least write one book a year, then I am a writer. That's my minimum goal, my at least goal for being a writer. You generally do much more writing than that, but if I at least write one book a year, then I'm a writer, and I can write one book a year if I do 10 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm. Carly asked if the worksheets and replays will be made available, and yes, for this week and for next week. They'll be by the evening of that day, you'll get an email with that day's worksheets and the recording.
I have already written a blog post.
Oh, we lost you.
If you go to Medium and look me up, you lost me.
Oh, you're back now.
Me right now.
We're good. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. If you go to medium.com and look me up, this morning I put today's notes in a blog post. So if you lose them, you can go look them up on Medium. I'm going to go back in today and I did not link to the worksheet. Well, I may not link to the worksheets. I don't know. I haven't decided, but at least you'll get the notes there. And we will later this afternoon, when the video is available, we'll send out the video with links to the worksheets and everything. Mm-hmm. And I'm just going to say again, I'm very proud of myself for having that one worksheet with all the links on it, because that's not like me. Usually you end up with 52 different links because I am not prepared well enough, but I did it today. I'm so proud of myself. I want to have my video on and it's messing up. Meg got the link. Thank you. Does anybody have questions? Also, we are done with the fresh start part of today, unless you guys have questions, and I could literally do this all day long. So please ask your questions. I'm not in a hurry to leave. But also, if anybody here is new to Ninja Writers and is not has questions about Ninja Writers, questions about the club, I'm also very happy to answer those. I absolutely would love for anyone here. I think, Adrian, what coupon do we have on there now? It's $5 for the first month, or a free first month?
I think it's $5.
Yeah, so for $5, you can join the Ninja Writers Club for a whole month. You are welcome. It's very easy. We use Teachable. It's very easy to leave. You don't have to ask permission or anything. You can just unsubscribe if you join and it's not your thing. But I think that it will be your thing. I think you're going to love it. And we would love to have you. We have write-ins every single day of the week. We have workshops and classes and all kinds of stuff that's available at the club level. We also have the Ninja Writers Guild, which is a little more intense, but the club is anyone who showed up here and stuck through for 2 hours should totally be in the club. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. I love the Ninja Writers Club. Yeah. So we have the write-in, all-day write-in, which is also free, and everyone will be invited to that. Everyone on our email list will be invited to that. That's on January 2nd. And then on the 9th, if you are in the club, if you're not in the club, you might want to join for January for $5 just to do this. But on the 9th, NWAL starts its writing part. So NWAL is Ninja Write Along, and it's our year-long writing a novel process. And we plan from July through January, through actually October. Then we take November and December off. Then we start writing the book we just planned. And on the 9th of January, we're going to have a special 3-hour call instead of 2 hours, because we are going to go through how to test and develop a story idea together as a group on the books that we already planned, but just to get us back in, and then do a zero draft, live and in person. Write a quick 10-page, 20-page zero draft of your novel. And I promise you can do it in an hour. You can do it. We're going to do it together live, me too. So that will be on January 9th. And then the next Sunday we spend 3 weeks on each of 8 sequences in your novel, actually writing them. And that starts the next next Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern every week. So any questions, any thoughts, anything I can help you guys with? I think that's it. All right, you guys, we will see you tomorrow. If you would like to join us, here is our YouTube channel. We are going to be live from 9 to 10, about 10:30 on YouTube. Adrian and I doing our sprints. You can come for the extra hour. You can just come at 10 for the 10-minute sprint, and then we'll see you at noon here Eastern. Bye, everybody.
Bye.